What I'm teaching is what the CE credit course is something that Chris and I developed together about 12 years ago in order to kind of work with people who are in pre-foreclosure, those kind of things. And back then it was about finding people who wanted to short sell their house, right? That was kind of what we were doing. And then we short them and then, you know, sell them on the market, sell them to investors, whatever. And that was the process that we came up with. I wrote the CE credit course probably, I don't know, 5 years ago. I've taught this, I don't know, 60 times probably.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't joined.
You've never joined?
Yeah, thank you for the invite.
Well, you set this up.
Oh, okay.
So then Chris reached out and said, hey, I want to teach a class with you. Do you have some ideas? And I was like, I already have the class written, man. Like this was you and I that came up with this. And so today what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of a hybrid with this. So I have to get through all my slides in order to count it as 2-hour CE credit course, right? To fulfill the obligations through the real estate commission. Chris is going to we're going to talk through some of the ways as real estate agents that you can use these techniques to you know, help customers find inventory. What else? Those kind of things.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, just more door war stories, door knocking.
Yeah.
You know, real life.
Yeah. So here's the cool thing about this is anything that I ever teach, I never teach anything that's coming from a place of theory. I always teach things from my personal experience and that I know works, either through people I've coached or something I've done myself. Now, a little background on Chris. You want to share a little bio about who you are for the people that don't know who you are?
Yeah. Where do I start? Big picture, Keller Williams for a long time, 18, 19 years.
19, yeah, right. Huh?
So I drank the Kool-Aid, and I guess I'm in. We started Keller Williams in 2005. It was short sales back then. The banks were not selling foreclosures because the market was shifting. So I started door knocking to get short sale listings, but the loss mitigation departments didn't want to sell those properties because they didn't have anything set up. So I thought when I was cold calling for short sales, I'll just talk to the asset managers that are going to get the REOs. So the first bank, I'll just give the quick version I called was like Compass Bank because it's a small local bank. There's a lady named Ann Connors in Birmingham, Alabama. And she's like, I got 5 listings that have been sitting in Denver for 6 months. Mm-hmm. You should go see if they're still vacant and you can have the listings. I was like, sweet. The next bank was Ameriquist in Irvine, California, Deborah Guerrero. I got in with her bank and she started giving me some of her listings. So anyways, I started just Googling these banks because back then technology isn't as good on stalking people. It is now.
Yeah.
So Google and just cold call 1-800-AmeriQuest or EMC Mortgage. These banks don't exist now. And I was like, who is the asset manager who handles Colorado? I want them. And I started making a spreadsheet. And it grew really fast. You're probably not going to hear this from most realtors. The first year we did 68 transactions, which was pretty good first year. Next year we did 219.
Yeah.
Third year we did 424 units as REO listings. So we went from 0 to obviously being number 1 in the nation for Keller Williams for a couple of years as realtors. So the only mistake I made, or one thing I would adjust, is when I was selling all these REOs on my desk with my wife, Sean should have been buying them all. Yeah. You could have been buying Mount Bella houses.
Well,
50 grand.
Hold on. Let's be fair. How did we meet? Do you remember how we met?
You were at Village Homes thing, and you were.
I had a partnership with Village Homes. Yeah.
Yeah, Steve.
But why did you reach out to me?
I don't know.
Because who had the REO account for the entire state? You had the Veterans Administration.
Yeah, VA or Auckland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he calls me and he goes, dude, how do we not know each other? We should talk.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I'm closing 140 units a year at this point. And I'm thinking, I'm 30 Under 30 Realtor Magazine, Hall of Fame at RE/MAX, thinking I'm the hot shit. And he sits down and I'm like, well, how many homes have you sold? And he's like, I don't know, I've closed like 200 year to date. And I'm like, what?
And I was
And
27.
He's 20. You were 26. You were like, you were young, man.
Yeah. And I'm like, good
And
luck.
I'm a little older than you.
Good luck with that one account. I
Yeah.
got like 30 accounts to report to.
I thought I was so cool. I was like, I'm so cool. And he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then I had the joy, you brought me to Keller Williams.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And how much money have you made on me?
A lot. A lot. I recruited one person.
Yeah. No, it's literally, how much money have you made?
We average between 30 and 40 grand a year.
For how many years?
Oh, God.
You've made $500,000.
Sweet. Nice math.
Right?
And I still make him buy lunch. I make him buy lunch too.
350, just because it hasn't been that long. I had some of my
$350,000 he's made off
Sweet.
these guys. Now, yeah, right. That's pretty good, right? Now, does he take me to lunch?
No, I make him pay.
Has he ever taken me on vacation? No.
Hell
no. So,
too busy.
But here's the funny thing. The story is he brings me to Keller Williams. I become his managing broker. So that means I get to field the complaints. Okay. That was my job.
Yeah.
Right?
Did we have any?
Well, just from agents who were like, Chris isn't calling me back.
Hell no.
Right?
And I didn't want to be like, I didn't want to talk to the agents. I make more money talking to the banks and finding a new bank or an investor that wants to buy my properties.
Yeah.
So they're like, are you Chris or Christine? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm Anson. I don't get paid enough around here. Let me show you Chris. And I would throw my phone to Anson that worked on my team. I go, handsome, answer this call. I'm not Chris. And then I would literally go back and I go, I'm going to go call another bank.
You don't have a slide though. I didn't give you a slide.
Thank you.
See, this is my high I and my ego.
Sweet.
So my background, I've been in real estate. This is my 29th year in real estate. I started in 1994. Wow. At 21 years old, I sold 72 homes my first year, 104 my second, 144 my third. And then when I met Chris with my company, Marketplace, we closed 616 units and about 15 agents. So we had the REO account, we had multiple builder accounts, and then my personal business. So I've always been a high volume kind of salesperson. And then the recession hit, and this is where Chris and I started working together. We would put headsets on and we would go door knocking foreclosures. You remember this?
Yes.
And we have our little Lenovo's laptops, and we would door knock foreclosures, and we would talk to each other over the headset. And literally, we would knock on the door. People would answer, and we would just handle the conversation literally right live with each other on the phone, so we could hear each other handling the objections. Over time, what we did is we developed this course, okay, that I'm going to go through with you, is how do you help somebody who's in financial distress? Because if you knock on somebody's door who's in foreclosure, or mail them, or they're a past client of yours or whatever, and you say you should sell your house, you're already at odds with them, right? You're already at odds, and we want to be lined up, right? We want to be like this, not like this. So the key to it is to serve them and help them with the goal that they want to achieve. Thank you. Which is what? What do they want?
Do I get mine passed out?
Do you want? Well, I was going to hold until you do your stuff so it doesn't confuse them. Right? So what is it that the customer wants when you're knocking on their door?
They want help.
They want help what? They want to keep their house, guys.
True.
They don't want to
stay in the house.
Yeah. So if you say, I'm here to help you sell your house, or do you want to sell your house, or I have an investor that's going to buy your house, you're already at odds with them. You can't, and if they say, we just want to move, or we don't care.
And they will say that naturally.
Yeah.
They'll literally, like, it does happen.
Yeah, some will. So the goal of this today is to give you guys the tools, all the tools that you need to be able to have the conversations with people through the process, because we know that a high percentage of them are going to end up either back in the situation, even if they've found a temporary solution like a loan modification or a forbearance, right? Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. So here's part of the CE stuff that we're going to just talk about really quick. Is our number one goal is to provide the consumer, the customer, with whatever their best needs are for them, however they interpret whatever their best situation is. If their best situation is to sell, then we want to help them get the house sold. If their best situation is to stay in the house, we want to work to help them stay in the house. It will come back around. Like there's people we've helped stay in houses, and a year later, 2 years later, they send you a referral, or maybe they come back and they're interested in selling their house. Our goal is to explain to them what their rights are under Colorado law. Now, I was teaching this one time, and I had somebody they were like, "Oh, I'm an attorney. You can't teach people rights. You're a real estate agent." And what I got to tell you is this is CE approved by the Real Estate Commission. They're fine with us teaching the rights. And I'm going to show you where that's important in here. And ultimately, our goal is to give them all the information that they need so they can make the best decision for them. Is that fair? So write this number down if you guys don't have this yet. This is the Colorado foreclosure hotline number. The reason we share this is because people who are in financial distress, they're obviously low on funds, right? They don't have a lot of money. You're going to be stepping into a situation where you're advising them. They don't have an attorney, right? So their best thing that they can have is this contact phone number that's put out through the state. And if you call this number, anything that we're talking about today is going to line up with what this number is going to say. Now, there was a time, was it you that was getting referrals from the foreclosure hotline?
No, I work with a HUD counselor.
Okay.
So when you call them, they direct you to a local HUD counselor to kind of help. And they're a government agency that doesn't charge any money. So I thought I'll just find all the HUD counselors in the metro area and go meet that manager that handles the territory. And so I got in with only one in Aurora named Barbara Abbott. She's retired actually. And she would call me once or twice a year and just say, "Hey, homeowner called me and they need to look in their options."
Yeah.
But it was a warm lead because it came from a HUD counselor. You go to auction next week, they don't want to file bankruptcy, they just want to move on. And then I would get it.
I mean, think about the power of that referral.
Yes.
Coming from a HUD counselor.
Correct.
Like, are you kidding me?
And she would say, "I have to refer 2 people," but then I end the conversation, "You really should go with Chris."
Yeah.
So she'll be politically correct. And I walk in, game, set, match.
Yeah. Done.
So.
You know what? We screwed up. We forgot to introduce Jared.
Yeah.
Jared.
He's so tall, we didn't see him.
Come up here. Come introduce Jared. Give Jared a hand, guys. I'm sorry. We just jumped into it. I got nervous. How's it going? Good, man.
Good.
So,
Hey, I'm Jared. I don't want to interrupt. Thank you all for being here. I'm Mr. Chicago title. I host a ton of classes, events. I teach some classes and stuff. I really focus on the marketing space. But we're doing more fun stuff in the investor space. It's a lot of fun. So thank you all for being here. We've got more coming up soon. So stay tuned. Just real curious. I'm always curious by how people find out about classes. By a show of hands, if you got an Eventbrite email and you're here today, can you please put your hand up? A few of you. Okay. So we're doing text message, social media. Okay. And the rest are KW, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you all for being here.
More spam. We need more spam.
More spam.
thanks, Jared. We appreciate you, man. And
Yeah, I'll keep spamming.
Jared's doing a dodgeball event in case.
that's right.
Yeah, dodgeball next week.
Next week.
Right. Next week, if you want to have some fun, we're doing a dodgeball event. Yeah, so we've got, we've got, I think,
Gavin. Yeah.
team signed up. I want to play all different brokers.
I want to hit Gavin.
teams, so it's
Yeah.
gonna be rowdy. So
Do you have room for more?
we got a couple more spots. Yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Hey, Kristen, you do me a favor and pour your chips onto something because the crackling will get picked up by the mics. Isn't that cool? Right?
That's so mean.
Attention is
scary.
And so, well, I've done a lot of this, right? I mean, one time Anthony was in the back eating some sandwich, man. I had to trash all the audio. I was like, oh, there goes the audio.
Trash.
We're out. Yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, you're good. It's just that crackly bags are brutal on the mics. Okay. So next off is here's why this is super important. In the last recession period that happened, you had all these mortgage brokers who were like making tons of money. They're super busy all the time. And then we hit this recessionary period. And a lot of the mortgage brokers pivoted, right? And they started calling themselves foreclosure consultants or short sale negotiators. Remember this?
True.
And then they were charging fees up front. So they would come to you and say, hey, I'm going to negotiate I'm going to do a loan mod. That's what that was. We're going to do a loan modification for you, and we're going to reduce your mortgage. Now, there was a period of time during that you could actually eliminate second mortgages, right? Some of these loan mod people were eliminating second mortgages. So they were getting these huge testimonials. Hey, they eliminated a $100,000 second mortgage for me. So all of a sudden it became an industry, and they started charging money up front. Okay. Did anybody hear of somebody who paid for a short sale negotiator or a loan mod specialist and paid up front? Yeah. Did you lose any money on that?
No, I heard of somebody doing it, knocking on doors and
Yeah.
telling people how to do it. They will charge up front.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's illegal now.
It was a scam.
Yeah. You can't do that now. So back then, there was good people who were doing it, and they were actually getting results. But then what happened is there was such a backlog with the banks that there was so many of these loan modifications that were going on that there was just no way for them to handle that many files. The banks weren't paying attention. They were doing what was called dual tracking. So back in the previous recession in Colorado, it was legal for a bank to track a foreclosure at the same time they're negotiating a loan modification or a short sale. Today, the banks can't do that. They cannot dual track anymore. So what would happen is you're negotiating a loan mod and the bank would foreclose on your property, right? And you're like, what are you talking about? Or you're in a loan mod and they would foreclose on your property. Or you're in forbearance and they would foreclose. It was the craziest thing ever.
That happened recently, about a year and a half ago with Chaffa.
Oh, yeah.
Chaffa got so backlogged on their loan mods that somebody screwed up and hit a button, and everybody pretty much got sent to auction. Swear to God, because Barbara Abbott would call me, the HUD counselor. She's like, Chaff, I go, was this supposed to go to auction? She's like, no.
Oh, no.
And they couldn't even, I don't think they reversed
Here,
it.
you need to step closer.
So-
You're out of camera.
I'm sure you
What's-
are.
Yeah,
Well,
get
I'm
over
so
here.
sorry.
Stay within
You
the
got-
TVs.
do you,
within the
uh,
TVs.
Do you have my high chair?
You can sit right here.
Yeah, I'll sit in my high chair.
Okay, sit right there.
Well, you're doing all the talking. I'll just listen.
Well, I got to get through the CE
Smart.
stuff.
Right.
Yeah, there's some important stuff that
Go at once. So,
it's like we should have a podcast.
yeah.
Yeah. So the point behind this is since then, it is no longer allowed for somebody to charge an upfront fee to provide foreclosure counseling and loan modification services. So this pushes it back to the responsibility of attorneys and real estate agents. So now the current law says the Attorney General is very specific. Individuals may contact you to help you avoid foreclosure. This is still happening, by the way. People will still try to do this and charge an upfront fee. People do this via email or over the phone. They're not local. They're not in Colorado. And because it might be legal in another state, so they think they can do it here, but the Colorado Attorney General says you can't. It says a foreclosing consultant is an individual you hire in a non-attorney or non-real estate agent. So this clearly says the only two people that can help somebody who's in a foreclosure who can consult them is an attorney or a real estate agent. Okay. Now, to be clear, it isn't a real estate agent with a license. It's a real estate agent that has agency, meaning you have a agreement with them that you're their agent, right? Like a listing agreement. A listing agreement causes agency. You can't just help them just because you have a real estate license, right? You need to be their agent. You need to be their fiduciary. Okay. Is that clear? So this is really important change that happened from the previous recession to the market we're in now, because there's a lot fewer people who have the ability to help them. Okay, so the next piece that's important, and this is really where like Chris and I have spent a lot of time, is understanding the foreclosure timeline in Colorado. Is anybody familiar with dealing with foreclosures in Colorado and the timeline? Yeah. How many have been licensed since prior to the last recession? Yeah. How many of us have had houses that we had listed that got foreclosed on while we had them listed?
All right, I got them after the fact.
I think that that's been a problem.
Yeah, that only happens to you once, and then you learn really quick to start paying attention to the foreclosure timeline. Okay, so this is what happens. Focus. Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is what happens in in when somebody's behind on payments? Somebody's 2 payments behind, what happens?
They're in default.
They're in default. Yeah. Pretty much nothing, right?
Yes.
Nothing happens.
We have a question.
Yeah.
I'll let you finish your sentence.
I'm probably going to answer it. Go ahead.
How many house payments can they miss before?
That's literally on my next sentence. Hang with me. Hang with me, sister. I've taught this 60 times.
Okay.
I promise I've got the answers here.
Yes,
Okay, so they're 2 payments behind. Nothing happens,
Yes.
right? They get a letter from the bank to them. They get phone calls from the bank. The bank's not moving forward in foreclosure, okay? 90 days behind,
They're going to make the NED list.
it's probably coming up. Now, here's what an NED is really quick. All an NED is the notice of election demand. It is just the bank waving their hand saying, if you do not cure, if you don't pay us what we're owed, we will move forward with our rights in foreclosure. That's all it is. Have you ever seen somebody in a situation where they're behind on where they're behind on rent and they get a 72-hour pay or quit, right? It's like a 72-hour notice. That's essentially all the NED is. It's just giving notice to the homeowner, to the borrower, that if they do not cure this default, they will get foreclosed on, okay?
after 90 days.
Around 90 days. Mm-hmm. Could be 90 days, could be 4 months. You had a question?
Oh, yeah, no, that's what I'm asking you. Like, perhaps you that day.
It is. There's banks that do not foreclose.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, Elevation's credit union does not foreclose on people.
What?
They don't foreclose. They have a policy that they will work it out. Now, what will they do is they'll refer them to an agent. They'll negotiate a short sale, but they don't foreclose on people.
Reverse mortgage.
Reverse mortgage. No, we had one. We had a reverse mortgage. that
So
was in
if they're
foreclosure.
deceased or declared vacant,
they
they have the acceleration clause in the prom notes,
yeah,
but they don't foreclose on you. They just have to show that grandma moved out or grandma's dead.
and then they can just take the property.
Well, they accelerated foreclosure of that, but that's
Yeah.
kind of a weird.
Yeah, those are weird.
Curveball.
Sophia and I just had a reverse mortgage that was in foreclosure.
Got it.
I don't know. Maybe they didn't pay
The
taxes.
tall person has a question.
Yes, sir.
Question. Hey, so like as Chicago title, we pull the NEDs and we
Yeah.
mail them out weekly to all the agents and investors, which is fine, but there's a lot of people on that list. So my question is if I'm an investor, how do I get to those people before?
Oh man, if we only had a 2-hour CE credit class on this, you're killing me, brother. This is what we're doing. Am I not going fast enough? Oh my gosh.
Stay tuned.
You gotta get okay. I'll go faster. Okay.
Very good.
So once it's recorded, once the NED is recorded, okay, what happens is it must be published in a newspaper or general circulation within the next or for 5 consecutive weeks. And within 10 days, the public trustee has to notify the homeowner, the borrower.
They don't have a newspaper where it's.
Hold on. Here's the problem. What's the problem in this? You guys are missing the point. You guys got to pay attention. This is super important stuff because this is where you're going to get tripped up. What's the problem with the NED getting filed and Jared sending it out to everybody and 10 days later, the homeowner's notified?
Agents and such having heads up prior to the homeowner.
You want to freak somebody out, right? How many times have you knocked on the door and told somebody, hi, I'm here because your home's in foreclosure. And they're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Or I only thought I'm a month or 2 behind.
Yeah.
They just like
I'm only a
yeah.
couple months behind.
Yeah.
I didn't know. So you have to be prepared when you're prospecting pre-foreclosures that you might be the person telling them, or their spouse might not know.
That's awkward. Yes.
Yeah. Or the tenant. You might knock on the door. It might be tenant occupied. There's no notice stuck on the door. This is mailed.
That's true.
Okay. They don't know.
You mean I'm paying rent and my landlord's not paying the mortgage company?
What?
Yeah.
Which happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Chris, and this is where this is important. The timeline, once the NED is filed, the sale date, this is where it's auctioned at the county. Okay. It cannot be less than 110 days. For agriculture, it's 160, I think. But for residential, it's 110. For commercial, it's 110. It's 110 to 125, depending on holidays, right? Holidays and those kind of things will throw that off. When you're contacting them here, how's that conversation look? What's their urgency and motivation?
Before the auction?
Yeah, we're early. We're 10 days in. You just Jared just sent you the NED. The house is right around the corner from you. You're like, oh my gosh, this house is right down the street in my farm neighborhood.
Yes.
I'm going to go door knock them and help them out, right? How does that conversation go?
I go over and I give them their options that they're unaware of because they've never been through it before most of the time.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
how receptive are they?
They're shocked. Like, you have to start very slowly. I definitely don't knock on the door and say, I'm a real estate agent. I want to list your house or buy your house. I just say, have you looked into all your options?
Yeah.
And then I just ask a question and see their reaction.
And what's typically the response right here? First 10 days.
It's actually good. There's a game for it. There's, not to get ahead of the slides.
It's okay.
I'll derail anyways. There's like 10 sharks that do this on a full-time basis. And there's one out there that hits them day one or day number two. And if you hit them early, there is a percentage, like 20% of those people actually will do something that quick and early.
We'll make a decision.
Yes.
But most of them say, what is what?
They got a lot of time. So thank you. We got it handled. We just got behind our payments.
Yeah, we got it handled. We got it figured out. Either I'm coming up with the money.
Yes.
They say, I'm coming up with the money.
Yep.
Or I'm working it out with the bank.
Correct.
Right? That's what they say right here.
Yeah.
Now, as it progresses and we get closer to the sale deadline, right? The sale date, the reverse happens where their motivation goes higher, but their options are fewer. Right here, you have lots of options.
Yeah. Time.
Here you have very few options. Like I had one I bought in Georgetown. It was going to sale in 7 days.
When was that?
That was a long time ago. 20.
You should have rented it.
I did for 2 years, and I sold it to the neighbor, and he schooled me on investing. He made a lot more money than I did. He was a lot smarter than I was, and he had no teeth, and he's still smarter than me. So, so the thing is when you get back here, the option might only be to sell it and to sell it cheap, right?
Yes.
Sell it cheap. Okay.
I don't pay more if they're
So
procrastinating.
where does the record go? This is not in the newspaper.
It still goes in the newspaper.
Where do we find it?
What newspaper?
That's
Jared.
We can find it.
No, Jared sends it out.
I sent out a list. If you want the weekly.
I think they make like Denver Post.
You can go right to the public trustee website.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of work.
I think they publish it in small Jefferson County papers, not Denver Post.
Find it in the newspaper.
Yeah.
You know, I work out with the guy who owns the company that publishes them in the newspapers nationally. It's an entire industry. Isn't that crazy?
What's his name? Arnold?
His name's Tom.
This also begs the question, though, that like, if you're doing this, isn't 1,000 other people doing it?
No.
Like,
I mean, consistently doing it. It's shark infested.
How many homes did you buy and sell last year?
I hate that.
It's slower.
Yeah, it's like
50, 60.
So he did 56.
The year prior was
Himself.
better. 92. 92.
So
busy.
there's plenty market.
There's enough out there for everybody.
Yeah, it's dumb luck and timing too.
Yeah.
We're in here in a class and somebody's doing a deal knocking on the door right now.
Christine?
Sorry, I'm slow to the game. Is this investor based or realtor based?
Well, these are realtors. However,
This is Dora.
you know, there's people.
To purchase are they wanting investment acquisitions or are they wanting to?
Well, this is about working with homeowners, and then we're talking about
providing a service to the
providing a service
To the
for
homeowner.
CE credit. You can't for the CEs. CE credits by design cannot be there to make you money. It has to be consumer focused. That's why I'm staying on track. But however,
That's why you got
But-
the other kid right there.
my point is there's
2
plenty
days-
of opportunity.
But 2 days before the auction, I'm giving a service because they're at risk of getting nothing.
It's true.
So tell Dora that.
But you're not doing it as a realtor.
No, I'm as a principal.
Okay, back on track. Okay, so here's an important point: 21 days before the sale date, where it's auctioned off at the county. 21 days, they send out this beautiful notice that finally tells them what they can do to cure the foreclosure. Isn't that convenient? 21 days before we're going to take your house, we're going to tell you what you can do to not lose your house. Do you see why this service, by helping them, is important? By providing them an option, by saying, "Hey, I'm a real estate agent. I'm here to help you." Because this is the script I use, right? Is, "Hi, my name's Sean. I'm with Keller Williams Advantage. I'm here because your house has showed up as a foreclosure on the county foreclosure list, right? Do you know what you're going to do? Do you have a plan?" Now, they all say, "Yes, I have a plan. Yeah, I'm working it out with the bank." Okay, do you know your other options? Do you know your other options? Okay, there's actually 7 options you have from this point on. I would love to meet with you and sit down and share with you what those 7 options are. When is a good time I can come back and meet with you and your spouse to cover those options? That's the conversation.
And how
Okay.
receptive are these people? I mean, you're knocking on their door.
They all love you. They all bring you flowers and ice cream. It's like anything.
Yeah.
It's like any kind of prospecting. It's like any kind of prospecting. Some people are upset. Some people are so happy you're there. They treat you like you sprung out of heaven, right? But here's the important thing: is you have to come at it from a place in your heart where you're there to help people, right? You know, even if you're an investor, you're coming from a place where you're trying to solve their problem, right? You're not here to manipulate or take advantage or steal. We're here to help people and solve their problem, okay? Now, 15 days prior to the sale date, the borrower, I can't get it out. They must file an intent to redeem. Now, here's the thing: is the public trustee is like the referee between the bank and the borrower to say, "Hey, did everybody follow the rules in this foreclosure process?" Okay. So the public trustee works for the county. If this notice to cure is not filed, the public trustee is not required to accept the cure. Now, here's the thing: we have walked in the day of the sale and cure without filing, because no public trustee wants to be on the newspaper saying that they foreclosed on a family's home that showed up with the money, okay? So just to be clear, I've never seen them deny a cure. And the banks don't want to deny a cure either, because they don't want to be
in bad press.
They don't want to.
Yeah.
They don't want to be in front of Kyle Clark.
Yeah,
Right?
Which was that? Chris Hansen? Who's
Chris
Kyle Clark? Who's
Kyle Clark's the 9 News guy.
Oh, what's the
Yes.
news?
He's the editorial guy.
Okay.
And does this make sense? So when you meet somebody and they're like, "Hey,
What
yes, I want your help."
What's an intent to cure?
What's an intent to cure? So the
Do you
notice.
know?
Yeah. Do you, what?
Okay.
Did you?
It's as far as my interpretation, it's just of how much money they need to reinstate the loan.
Yeah.
Which they can do on the phone and call Wells Fargo and get that answer. But if you file it through the county clerk or through the public trustee, in theory, it'll postpone your auction date for just asking, even though you can get the answer from your lender.
Yeah.
So that's all it really is.
So-
It's a simple 1-page form.
Yeah.
They fill out, they submit it back to the Jefferson County or Denver County public trustee, and it pushes it 30, 60 days. So when I go to the door, not to skip the 7 options,
No, it's good.
I basically say, "Have you filed an intent to cure?" I always ask technical questions, which makes it more, I look like I'm more knowledgeable. I don't say, "What is your plan?"
Yeah.
And I'll start, and they'll say, "I got it handled. The door is shutting. Have you filed an intent to cure?" "Yes." The door is shutting again. I go, "Have you submitted it to the public trustee?" "No." Like, I go deep down that rabbit hole to bluff them out that they haven't done any of it, because they're trying to shut the door on me. So I always believe you got to ask technical questions so you can call them on their bluff, and they realize they don't know what the hell they're doing,
Yeah.
and then we can continue a conversation.
That's great.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, Chris.
Send it to the county web.
Trustee.
Trustee in like Adams County, Denver. It's just an email address that's very generic. And I just gave a service. I just postponed their auction at no cost on a stupid form. I've literally said, "I'll fill it out for you.
Yeah.
Your name, your address, or your foreclosure number. Sign it. I'll scan it to the public trustee, because I don't think you have a computer, and I'll CC you on the email. And now I have a relationship."
Or you can literally put them in the car and go down to the public trustee's office and file it with them.
If they have,
30, 60, 90, how many days is it? 30?
You have to do it prior to 15 days prior to the cure, but you can do it any time. You can file your intent to cure 10 days in. You're just saying, all it is it's them saying,
They're raising their hand.
I'm
saying,
going to
I'm
cure this.
Correct. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
I'm aware
They
of
don't
my
have-
foreclosure and I'm going to cure it.
How long would it draw it out though? I said we'll draw it out.
30 is what I've seen.
I'll
There's
tell you,
no-
it doesn't always happen though.
And each
It's-
lender is different.
It's up to the lender's choice to extend it. It's not the borrower's choice. It's not the trustee's choice. The lender has the choice to extend the sale date. I had one extend 4 years. It moved it 30 days for 4 years.
Because the lenders don't want to foreclose on these people. Because then it's bad press. Wells Fargo is taking my grandma's house.
Yeah.
Times thousands nationally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Question?
So I got 2 questions.
Yes.
What, besides being a nice person,
Yes.
what benefit is it to you and building a relationship to, get the form, email it to the accountant?
Yeah.
We haven't passed these out yet.
Is there any? What have you gotten out of it?
I have a relationship of getting their email and their trust that I'm going to do some of the paperwork with them, and then I ask permission to follow up. Can I follow up within 2 weeks? Let me see if Jeffco gets back to you, and then I'll because I'm CC'd on the email, and I'm going to call you and say, hey, they accepted your intent to cure form. We got a pushed out auction date.
So then you.
I've got rapport, and then I start asking more difficult questions, like, so what was your plan? If you had to go to auction, even though I pushed you off 30 days, where were you going to go next? That's a very big one.
That's a great
If
question.
I had to move, where would I go next? And then you're like, if they go, I don't have a clue, then they're going to dig their heels in all the way to the end. But if they say, I'm already boxing stuff up and moving with my sisters because I hate the neighbor's dog, then I can accelerate my next question of, I know in their brain, they're mentally starting to detach from the house.
Yeah.
So then you're able to be like, how can I be of service to you?
Correct.
Okay, so then that begs the question: what advantage is it to go through the public trustee versus through the bank?
Huh?
How? They can either go to the bank and file, if maybe I misunderstood, but they can file that intent to cure to the bank directly or to the public trustee.
Well, no, the intent to cure, you can't file it with the bank because, hey, remember the trustee is the referee. So all the intent is to cure is a notice to the trustee that you're aware that your home's in foreclosure and that your intention is to cure it. So now the trustee knows that all parties are at play. If you just ghost, the trustee just assumes you vacated the house.
You don't care.
Or you don't care, and they'll just move forward with the foreclosure. They're not going to get hung up on it. So the interesting thing about your conversation on that is mine's really similar. And I say, I say to them, look, my biggest fear is that you're going to get foreclosed on. And let me tell you what happens. If your house gets foreclosed on, you're not going to get notified. What's going to happen is you're going to get a knock on your door, and it's going to be the new owner saying, I just bought your house, and here's your eviction notice, and I'm going to evict you. And then they're going to take all your belongings, and they're going to put it out on the street. And I've seen people get foreclosed or get evicted with their kids' toys and their blankets and their clothes and everything thrown out into the snow on the street and watch it get destroyed or the neighbors steal it. And I don't want that to happen for you. And that's true. Okay. When I managed the VA foreclosures, I was the guy doing the evictions. I had to sit there and watch them get evicted. It's a horrible thing to watch, right? I don't want to see anybody go through that. But if I can convey that emotion to them of why I'm there and why I care, then they're going to understand the reality of what in this public sale happens, that this isn't something to take lightly. Like, this is a really important thing that they need to pay attention to.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
One thing I don't know if you're going to cover is when it goes to auction, it gets that point, the mortgage company can only get what's owed to them. There's something called an overbid.
Yeah.
So we only have to go bid at the properties for $1 or over the mortgage amount. And if there's multiple,
there's a little bit more to that, because let's be clarified, because the sale date. So let's explain how a sale date happens. Denver's are on Wednesday now, right? Wednesdays?
Yes.
And now in Denver, you can bid online. You don't even have to show up.
Correct.
Which is crazy. You don't even have to bring a cashier's check. Back when we were buying at the county,
Yeah.
you used to have to show up with a cashier's check for the full amount of the house.
Yes.
But the bank can get the balance due on the mortgage plus any fees associated with securing the property. Okay. So this is one of the things that you got to tell somebody is when you get your notice of election demand, when you get this filed, do not move out. If you move out, they're going to secure the property and it will prevent access for you or for your real estate agent. They will secure the property. They will board it up, change the locks, winterize it, and all of those fees, additional to attorney's fees, taxes, HOAs, all that stuff, are tacked onto that balance when you go to cure. Okay?
It's almost like you don't have access to your personal property.
You don't.
Even though you don't, the bank doesn't own it. The auction hasn't happened.
But then, so, and when you close on something, you have a note in a deed of trust. The note is how much do you owe? What's your payments? What's the term of the loan? What's the interest rate, right? The deed of trust is when you don't make your payments, this is what we're going to do. And it's all spelled out very clearly in the deed of trust. You leave that property, it's considered abandonment. They have a right to secure an abandoned property. They have a right to protect their asset. And that means from your real estate agent too, right? Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you're saying,
I don't know.
so talk more about the balance. You're going into the balance because I just want to make sure it's clear that it's not just the mortgage amount.
It's fees, actually.
It's mortgage amount plus fees. And this is one reason why it'd probably be harder to cure it directly from the lender than it would going to the public trustee. Because if there's a balance, let's say there's a balance of $40,000 that's owed to cure, you can just bring that $40,000 to the trustee. You don't have to send it to the bank. You can bring it to the trustee and cure directly with them. That's so that way it will immediately stop the foreclosure.
Correct.
I'm confused with what you just said. You're saying that if you move out when it's
prior, the NED, yes,
anywhere in here,
but
the
you're
bank
still in contact, like you're planning on paying for it.
Doesn't matter.
But just by moving, how do they even know?
Well, they have mortgage companies, have people that service the notes, and they'll.
Have you ever heard of a BPO, a broker price opinion?
They drive by.
Yeah.
So they hire an agent to do a broker price opinion. On that, it says, is the property occupied
or vacant?
Or vacant.
But who are they letting, if they don't let anybody know that they...
You didn't make payments. They know.
They let the bank know. That's what I think the missing piece is, Sean. She's wondering how the bank knows. The BPO is hired by the bank.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still planning on paying for it and everything.
Doesn't matter.
They also have safeguard. They have vendors that do property preservation inspections more than realtors.
Because it's only filed.
Swear to God,
it's only filed. It's not sold.
It doesn't matter. In the deed of trust, they have the right to secure the asset. I'm not arguing the point. I'm telling you the reality. They have the right to secure the asset. In commercial real estate, it's called receivership, right? They literally take the property from the owner and take control of it. Even though the owner has ownership, they no longer have control in commercial property. Residential property, they only take control of it if you vacate, right? If you're living in it, they don't do that. Is that clear? Mm-hmm. I'm not justifying it. It's just the way it is.
What's the difference between a BPO and a CMA? I've been hearing this a lot. And also, how can we get directly connected to lenders or banks that ask for a BPO?
Okay, that's not this class. A broker price opinion is a CMA for the bank. How you do that is a totally different class.
Okay.
I'll give you can I give a teaser at least? I mean, so you, it's a very analytical appraisal kind of report. I've done.
You've done 10,000 of them?
Easily. And Phoenix and Denver. And so, Minnesota. There's a lot of states. At midnight with a headache. So it's 3 active comps and 3 sold comps. You're just putting in columns like an appraisal, address, a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom based on tax records, the condition of the asset. So you kind of get through actives and solds based on proximity of the asset. And then a repair bid. If you went in the property, carpet paint, kitchen, bath. So you have a repair bid, and then you have a bunch of photos at the end. So it's like it's a short form appraisal. Thank you. And so that's all it is. And they pay you $50-$60 to do a drive-by BPO.
Yeah.
Wow.
You don't want to get on that chain because gas is too much. But there's a lot of agents that used to go, I'll go do 20 BPOs a week.
Yeah.
It's a miserable life.
What was funny is they all thought they doing the BPOs led to becoming
An REO
an REO
listing.
agent, and it doesn't.
Most of the time it does. There are
Why would they not pass that to you?
banks that did, but there was like 2 out of 50.
That's not how we got ours, right? We went through the back door.
I went to the
You all were
asset manager.
standing in line. We just went around the back. Like, look, the back door's open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
Something you said earlier, though, and I don't know if maybe this dovetails into what the ladies in this center were saying, but even when you're in pre-marketing property credit space and the bank has the property monitored, which they do, believe it or not, they have ways
To be clear, so Christine is Chris's wife. She ran and does run the entire back end of your guys' business for many, many years. So those years that Chris sold 400, and I think it was 75, was it 25? 425?
424.
425. It was really Christine, because Chris, I would go in the office and he'd be on solitaire, and Christine was working with beads of sweat coming down her head, and
Yeah.
Chris was like, "Oh, mine, dang."
They secure the property, but to be clear, they don't touch the personal property. So if the occupant leaves,
Right.
and they have, whether they left in the middle of the night, whether they're on vacation, or whether they moved out because they're trying to just avoid delay, I don't know. I mean, everyone has their reasons. From an eviction process, from the whole foreclosure process, they cannot touch the contents of that house until after it's gone through full eviction. And then that's a whole separate thing where you have to do a PP eviction. And then when you see the kids' blankets and toys thrown on the snow, technically has to stay at the curb for 48 hours, right?
Yeah, depending on the sheriff.
Yeah.
So PP eviction is personal property.
It's different.
So if the house is in NED status before the auction, they can secure the asset, but they can't really touch it if it's more than $300 in value.
Yeah, they can
Sorry to
change the
get-
locks, board up windows.
Yeah, they'll lock you out, but they won't take your things. That's
Yeah.
what I was getting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I just said secure the asset. I never said evict them.
Right, but when
Yeah.
you lock them out, it sounds like,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean?
Well, this is why this is.
Tenant eviction stuff.
Yeah, true. And this is why it's so important. Is I had a client who was like 70 years old, and he got his NED, and he thought it was an eviction, and he thought he had to move in 30 days.
Which is great. He's motivated.
He was motivated. I did a short sale, got his house sold, but he thought he was going to get evicted, so he was getting ready to move out. And I was like, no. We literally had like another 100 days. Like we had plenty of time. I was like, let me get the house listed. Let's get it sold. We'll do a short sale. Life will be fine. Right?
Yes. I'm gonna give one quick story. This is a good one. Dora, this shows I'm a good boy.
Yeah.
So NED happens, auction happens, hedge fund buys the property for the overbalance. The bid was like $250,000. The overbid won $110,000 over the asking amount. So I was going to buy the property from the hedge fund because I just have the connection. So I said, I'm driving over there to see what the heck you guys bought. Because a lot of times you're buying it with sight unseen because you're driving by buying properties with you don't get access to. And so I go over there and a neighbor comes out. And I was like, oh, here he comes. And I intentionally, that sale just happened. So I'm always kind of sort of trying to get in the house without breaking anything. So I'm trying to kind of get her in the house. And he comes over and he's like, why are you at the house? I go, well, it was just sold at the auction a week ago. And I go, do you have a key? He's like, well, it's vacant. He's like, I do. I'm like, sweet. This will be easier. Now I don't have to break anything. So anyways, he comes back. Because it's already sold at the hedge fund. It's already sold. So watch your mouth. So he comes over 5 or maybe 2 minutes later and we walk in and I go, so what happened? He's like, the lady overdosed on fentanyl. She died right here on the couch. She wasn't there. So I was like, okay. And I go, so how much drugs was she on? So I'm just gauging. When I walk these, I'm just taking inventory. Well, she was on meth and fentanyl. I'm like, shit. So I was like, I don't want to buy it that bad now because I mean, he's going to be coming at me every time I come in and fix the house up. So anyways, I go, so did she have any, heirs, sons, daughters? He has a mother that was helping her and a 10-year-old daughter. So I go to my system. My little skip tracing is kind of high tech. We won't do a demo today. And that's why I know Jared's birthday's tomorrow. Is that I cold call I cold called the mom who lived in Arvada, which is only a mile from me. And I said, sounds weird. But I went in the property and I didn't know if you knew there's an overbid on the property. She's like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I didn't think the house was worth anything. It was my daughter. She's like, come over and see me tomorrow morning. I was like, all right, this will be weird. I'm going to drop the kids off at school. And it was 8:30 in the morning, early. She's like, come in the house and sit down on the couch. She's like, oh, wow, that's going to be cool. I mean, I don't know which way is this going, but she was grandma. So I was like, she's not going to kill me. So I go in, she breaks down, cries, and said my daughter was on drugs. I had to take her daughter away from her because all the drug use, and it's a sad story. And I was like, wow, this is a legitimate hardship. And I said, well, do you know there's a $110,000 overbid at the Adams County? Wow. She's like, what's that? I explained that. And I go, so did you ever file probate since your daughter died a year ago? No, I didn't. I go, I'll connect you with an attorney and we will get that 110 from Adams County to give it to your 10-year-old daughter. And that literally went down about a month later after the auction. I mean, this is after the auction.
Yeah.
Overbid, for those that don't know what
Yeah.
The overbid is the bank was only taking $250,000 plus Sean's little fees that he was obsessing over. And the investor paid more than that, so the equity goes to the prior owner.
But why would an investor pay more than that?
Because the value of the house is worth a lot more.
Because it gets bid up.
It gets bid up.
Yeah.
There's a bidding war. Sorry, there's a bidding. I'm missing that.
And the bank, here's what's really crazy is you'll be sitting at those county auctions. Let's say Wells Fargo's has a loan balance of 200. That's where they're at. So they can start their bid higher or lower than that. They can start their bid wherever they want. They can automatically bid up to the balance that's owed. Okay, they get a free bid up to that amount. So they could say, okay, we're going to start the bidding at 200. That's their bid. Mm-hmm. That comes out 3 days prior to the county auction. Okay, what the bank's bid is. So now you know, do I need to be ready for this or not? Because if the bank bids 400 on it, which they can, they could bid on it if they wanted to, and you're like, it's not worth it. Or let's say the balance is higher and it's a short sale kind of scenario. Now you go into the county and you start to bid. Well, you might bid 210, and then somebody else bids 220. The bank can bid 230, and they'll start bidding against you to drive the price up if they want the property back.
That's true.
Not only will the banks do it, the HOAs. I've seen homeowners associations buy properties back.
Yes.
Right? So that bid can ratchet up to kind of crazy numbers, like really crazy numbers. The other thing about if you've never bought at the county auction is they don't tell you what lien position the lien that is for closing is in. And so remember, we'd go to Adams County with old John Dilday. Remember that? Remember those? And Vasquez and those guys?
Art the Fart.
The Fart and John. And somebody, you'd have 200 people in the room and somebody would bid $100,000
on a second lien. And that's the value of Jared in Chicago. He'll pull an O&E report so you know what you're buying.
Yeah. And so basically, let's say he wins. Now he's going in, he's given $100,000 and they're in second position because there's a first mortgage that's still on there that's current.
Yeah.
And they essentially bought nothing, right?
And the old school guys would sit there and laugh.
They
the
laugh
new
at
guy,
you. Yeah.
Just bid it up and they would leave and we won't see him again.
Yeah. Those of us
He
that
just
did our
lost.
homework are going, dude, pull out. I remember one time they yelled at the guy and they said, stop bidding. That's a second. And the guy goes, what are you talking about? And then they said that the trustee said, you got to shut up. You can't help them.
You can't talk. Yeah.
You can't talk.
Oh, wow.
And the guy said, you're screwing them over. And they freaking held the bid.
Yeah.
Yeah. The guy lost the money. Yeah.
So I guess maybe I'm not understanding something. So this was sold to a hedge fund. How are you in the process at the same time?
I know that hedge fund contact, and he said you can go over there and see what I bought yesterday and see if you want to buy it from me. Does that make sense?
His whole story was about how he helped these people out. It had no technical.
And I love that.
The hedge fund wanted to wholesale the house to me.
And I love that for this. No, seriously, it's very heartwarming that you were able to get this family the money they rightfully deserved.
100%.
But what is it also in it for you? And then also, what's your opinions on working with hedge funds? Because I get all.
We ain't got a whole another hour, girl.
Yeah.
Write him down, and I'll give you his phone number. You can. Gee whiz. We're gonna be here all day. Okay. Okay. You want to take over?
Negative.
You want to talk about
Oh,
how you're doing your
searching?
You're searching, yeah.
Oh, yeah, pull it off on your thing.
Why am I not? Do you want to be on?
Yeah, let's do that one. I like that one.
Okay, you want this one? Okay.
So I use a software. I don't like to go to the county websites like the public trustee because it's very old school and DOS. It's like I can't even read this thing. So I use a system called Renav. I don't own the company yet, right, Jared?
I know. We both made stabs at that to try to buy it.
We've a bid on it. The guy who owns it is Aaron Lebovic. And he didn't like my offer, and
he didn't. It's not your offer.
Maybe just
he didn't like you.
Naturally. So that's because I'm actually using the software, whatever. Anyways, so Renav just makes my life easier until I build my own one day. To look up which properties have equity. So this property is a real life example. I'm actually actively working on it. You guys can go doc on it as well.
Are they in foreclosure already? Is that?
Yes, ma'am.
Are they pulling all foreclosures?
This is off all the foreclosures, yep. And the ones before the auction, obviously. The NED's been filed. So this lady, Mary Snyder, I should probably show you a video. I have a video of it. Damn. We're going to do a next class. It's good. I have a video of me walking.
Next one won't be CE, so I won't have to stay on the time.
It's all hoarding out. And I go up, and there's a gray cat that always comes out of the litter box in the front, and he always greets me, and I say hi to him. But it is hoarded to the hills. And Mary owes $93,000 on the property in theory. And this is not always 100%, but it gives you a standing point. And the house is worth probably over $311 based on assessed value. It's probably worth over $400 because assessed value in Denver County is less than reality. So she has a 30% loan to value, which means she has equity. And I actually already pulled an O&E to see if she had any other liens or judgments or IRS liens. She didn't have anything else. Title work is good. She only has
to be the same form.
Huh.
Same property.
Same property. Rena. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's a different one. Sorry. Okay. We're going to work off with this one because of the life story behind it. So she goes to auction. Oh, Sean, where'd you go?
What do you want?
Where's it say 90,000 that she owes?
Right here, ma'am. Yeah. And it won't be on that form. You got a different one. Sorry, man. She goes to auction. Where's it at, Sean?
You want the sale date? Is that what you're looking
auction
for?
Date. Yeah. She goes to auction on May 2nd. So pretty quick here. What are we in now? April, May. Oh yeah.
Oh, this is current.
This is an active file.
Ooh, I'm gonna buy it.
Go knock on it. So hoarder lady won't answer the door. I leave a note. I'm hanging out with a friend in the back of the room, Tyler. We're waiting on her, just kind of seeing it's dark. It's 6 o'clock at night. And all of a sudden Uber Eats shows up. And I'm like, she's in there. She just never answered my door. I've been there 4 times, leaving sticky notes. I can help you. I'll give you your
Oh, the sticky notes.
Yes.
Yes, remember those.
The old school one is like, please call me. I really need to talk to you. And that would be it. So anyway, she gets her food from Uber Eats. I'm like, sweet. She's like hoarding in there and she's hiding. Like she won't answer my door. And I've been petting her cat for weeks. So anyways, yes. So now
we gotta edit that out.
There's a heckler. We're looking for a heckler. We got a heckler.
I knew somebody was gonna say
we're gonna get a heckler. So
Renee.
So what I do is I start cold calling her. She won't answer through my skip tracing. And I was like, I got an idea. It only takes a half a second. I'll just go get her an Uber Eats gift card out of King Soopers and write a handwritten note just to bait her to see if she'll call me. And I did that the next day. Hey, Mary.
Brilliant.
I'm the guy leaving that stupid note every week. I always disarm it, just saying, that stupid notes of me. I'm an idiot. Sorry, I got to keep coming by. Here's an Uber Eats gift card. Call me. I'll give you your options. You don't have to sell because there are still options you don't have to sell. I got to get her to talk. She's never called me since. But that's a good file. I'm just showing it as an example because based on the loan to value, the equity, and the RENAV, this is what I go after. I want the people to have equity. I don't feel like doing short sales and dealing with lenders. You know, I want people that have a lot of equity. That way, if there's a potential to list it, like Sean, or me to buy it, there's equity to be given to them. So anyways.
Nice.
When are you going over there next?
Probably tomorrow. Friday.
I think we're all going over there tonight.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Give her some Uber Eats or like bring her food. And
I'm just going to show up with an Uber Eats bag.
I'll buy you an Amazon Uber Eats shirt.
That'd be awesome.
She'll think you're the delivery guy.
You know I do it. You
should have hit up the Uber Eats and found out what she's eating.
Yeah. She never called me yet. Shame on her.
So when was this NED filed?
January 2nd.
So January 2nd, and then the first auction date is May 5th. So that gives you May 2nd. So that gives you
almost-
Cinco de Mayo.
She has a month roughly. You got all of April, and then it's here.
Yeah, but that's how fast it happens. Like that's pretty quick.
Yeah. She did have a note on the first thing. It says, "I got things handled with the blank. Please don't knock on my door."
Yeah.
Oops, I knocked.
Smart. Yeah.
She did, and then the second time I went there, the note was never there again.
Yeah.
So maybe she needs help.
Maybe she was cooking her own meals instead of ordering Uber Eats. She was being foreclosed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know, coming in with a judgmental opinion is always going to work. Yes.
I'll ask her if she calls me.
You have to
First
realize
question.
people get foreclosed on for all kinds of random reasons, guys. Like,
Yeah.
don't come at this like these are dumb people or that they're poor or they are not, you know, whatever it is. Don't come in, because I had a guy who literally right up here on Green Mountain, he's 74 years old. His mortgage got sold to Mr. Cooper.
Mr. Pooper.
Now, while this was happening, there was tons and tons of fraud going on in the mortgage industry. He thought he was getting scammed, right? So he just stopped paying his payment, thinking the bank would call him and say, "Hey, what are you doing?" The only people that called him was Mr. Cooper. And he's like, "I'm not making my payment to Mr. Cooper."
Because it's a scam.
Right?
Yeah.
So this goes on for a year and a half. He's a year and a half behind. Finally, the bank's like, "We don't have a choice. We have to foreclose on you." Right? And this poor guy had like probably almost $250,000 in equity, right? His kids live out of state, everything. So we meet him and we're like literally like a week from the sale date. I'm trying to get this thing to pop back on. We're like a week from the sale date, and we had to drive him down to file his intent to cure. And then we called his kids and we're like, "Hey, we got to cure this." It was like $75,000 he was behind. Right? Now, I'm going to share with you the 7 ways to help somebody who's in foreclosure. I'm going to share with you what the solution was because it plays into the story. But he wasn't like a loser who just didn't want to pay his mortgage. He wasn't, you know, he was just an old guy who didn't understand that Mr. Cooper is an actual bank with a stupid name or a servicer.
Because the loan got sold.
Because the loan got sold.
Got it.
Right? Okay. So what are the options for financially? I would tell the story as I said that. Remember? What? This is a cliffhanger. You know, like when you're watching like Below Deck and like they end that one episode with a cliffhanger. That's what I was doing right there. That was my cliffhanger.
She's all drunk and then she starts to greet the guests up on the main floor.
Yeah, exactly.
Naked and afraid.
You're watching the same one I am. Okay. So options. So this is where Chris and I honed this down. I mean, there was so many foreclosures back then that we used to have these Lenovo ThinkPads. We would download the list into a CSV file, the NEDs, and then we would sort it by the U.S. postal code. You know how it's the zip code plus the 4 numbers? And that would give you the U.S., the postal carrier's route. Do you remember this?
Yes, I like that one. You told me.
And then we would literally just go, just like the postal carrier, door to door, because there was like 20 in a neighborhood.
Yes.
Right? Like Montbello.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
And so he would be on a headset, I'd be on a headset. And this is literally the best practice that we came up with to build trust early in the relationship, early in the NED, because you got to contact them early because trust is the number one reason they're going to work with you. So don't wait until the sale date is 60 days away or 30 days away because they've already developed trust with somebody else by that point. You got to reach out early. But don't push too hard. You got to provide options, right?
Yes.
Okay. So here's the options. You have anything to add?
Well, there's one that's here. It's not in his slides.
Oh, what do you got?
I'm not sure this one.
Okay.
So there's one layout that we did that Sean is going to
stay in the camera view.
Get educated today. This is a good one.
Yeah.
So there is a state grant through COVID called the Colorado Emergency Assistance Program. True thing. So they go online and they fill out the top link. They can register to file the Colorado Emergency Assistance. They got to blame their hardship on COVID. Like I lost my job or less income because of COVID. So it's kind of like a short sale. You're doing
Huh.
bank statements, hardship, COVID. They apply for the grant. I've never seen anybody get rejected. I mean, you got to fill it out and submit it online. It takes about 21 to 30 days and they get approved, and they'll reinstate up to $30,000
What?
of their arrears. And
I'm
it's
gonna stop
free.
making my payment.
Yeah,
That's
it's free
awesome.
taxpayer money.
That's awesome.
So, and there's like 50 million at the state still that hasn't been spent because most homeowners do not know it exists. So going
So
into
do you
this,
carry this with you?
100, this is all I carry. I do not carry a sticky note anymore and say, please call me. I don't even carry. I just say, because here's my theory. When I knock on the door, they can't say, get the F off of my driveway because I just gave them 30 grand. That's in my head.
Mhm.
Who else have came and gave you 30 grand today? Like, I'll literally say it to them too. If they
You know
get
what?
mouth-
Hold on. That was brilliance in that. You know, what's the brilliance in what he just said?
You got a solution. You got a solution.
Yeah. And what did that actually solve for him?
The problem that they were facing.
No. What does it actually solve? No.
No.
What did it actually solve? What's the hardest thing about prospecting?
Confidence,
Built a relationship.
What's the hardest part?
confidence,
Overcoming the
objections.
fear of rejection.
Yeah.
But when you feel like you're providing $30,000 worth of value every time you knock on a door, you're overcoming that because I'm not here to take, I'm just here to give. Look, you can use me or not, you can trust me or not, you can call me or not, I'm here to give. That's the only reason I'm here. That's why that's brilliant. That's really,
You're welcome. We'll add it to the
that's
slide.
good. I didn't know this.
And it's a real life
We
thing.
will add
I'll
it to
answer
slide.
a question. This one actually went down. This is in Mount Bello. Lois, I can't remember her name. Carmela. African American lady, 62 years old, single. We cold called her. I went over there. I'm sitting in her dining room area, and we're talking about her options. Of course, my option is one, I want to buy her house. And I asked her some difficult questions because the more technical questions I ask, the further I can go down the rabbit hole, or difficult questions. And I found out there was two other sharks. We'll call them Kenny G and Ray Ray. They were both pulling out both of her arms trying to buy the house. And about 5 minutes in, I go, you know what? Nobody's buying the house, including me. I'm not buying your house, ma'am. I'm going to help you myself, because she's just a sweet, honest lady. Super street smart, too. She's not on drugs. She doesn't, she just had a little bubble in her life on her job. I said, I'm going to help you make sure you get this done. So she submitted the application. I got intel of who works as the underwriting, and her name is Rebecca, who underwrites this. I forwarded her that information. I go, Carmela, follow up with Rebecca here, like a Chaffo underwriter, and ask if you got approved, because her auction was a month out.
Oh.
And we got it all in the line, and her bank was Stera Credit Union, small bank. I got them on the phone because I know somebody that works over there, and her name is Grace. I go, Grace, I need you to stop the auction because Carmela is going to auction in a month, and she's back on her feet. She only owes like 12 grand. She's behind. And she's like, I will do that for you, Chris. I had a 3-way call. Swear to God, this just went down in January. And then when they get the money, it doesn't go to the homeowner. It went to Westera Credit Union. So $15,114 was her to bring herself current.
That's awesome.
So the reason why it did that, because it's basic community service. I'm not getting paid for this. Is now I have confidence to go to any door for the rest of the year and say, I can help you solve your problem. And you can call Carmela right now. I'll get her on the phone, and we can have a 3-way call, knowing that I'm not a shark. I'm a shark, but I'm not a great white. I'm a nurse shark. I'm a nice shark.
I'm a nurse.
You're a little tiger shark.
You're like a little cute tiger shark.
Or maybe
Yes.
like a hammerhead.
Yeah.
No, they're kind of mean, aren't they?
Did they pay 2 months in advance for them as well? As the 12,000 that she was buying?
They got it all correct. It came up to 12, and all the late fees, it went to 15.
Okay.
So I'm sorry to derail your thing.
No, that was great.
That's a great story.
This is
reality.
exactly why we need to be doing this. This is
'Cause
exactly.
we're not teaching. I'm actually doing it.
Yes, sir.
How many doors have you knocked?
Look at my knuckle. Look how many doors I've knocked.
Okay.
Sorry, but you said the hardship must be COVID related.
Yes.
That COVID part of this being her employment.
Correct. Yeah, she did lose her job for about 6 months, and she got back on her feet quick.
Nice.
So
Are they all COVID related? I mean,
that's kind of. You can sway the application to be COVID related.
Hey, COVID's still going around. I just got it 2 weeks ago, so it's still happening. Like, it's still living. It's still living large. Some of us are COVID carriers. Okay, so now this was perfect timing and great. I do have a slide for that. Okay. You're just a little early. No, we moved on. Too late. Yeah, go ahead.
You take this read and then generate this from this because you knew she had equity?
No, I mean, yeah, I knew she didn't owe a lot on the property. So she was on our list of, and we cold called her. I started with a cold call based on the renav from Mount Bello.
Okay.
And then and she responded. Okay. I want to look at my options, and I went over there and I decided nobody's buying her house, including me.
Did you call Ray Ray and say, I just took the meat out of your mouth, Ray Ray?
I did.
Did you? Okay.
Yes. Oh yeah. Ray Ray and I fought over that. Ray Ray would call her and says, this guy Chris is scamming you. And I go, Carmela, call Ray Ray and say, be a good boy. We would literally, she was already in the lion's den, so I just started bombing on her.
Yes, sir.
When you do that, do you leave them with like cards and ask for referrals, or you do something like that as almost like a favor?
I do it as a favor, and I don't make this a full-time job. I did it because I have way more confidence that I can do it from start to finish, testing it almost myself.
That was the first one you did like that.
Yes, like official.
Now, to be clear, Chris is not currently active as a residential agent buying and selling. He has a license. He is an agent, but his main focus is buying, wholesaling, and flipping. So to your point, as an agent, absolutely. Can I add you to my database? Can I use you? Can I have a testimonial? 100%. Can I talk to you can I talk about you when I'm, like one of the biggest objections you'll get, like when you have a closing, I had a client, we sold his $2 million house in 4 hours. And he said, this was probably the fastest you've ever made, 20 grand, right? Or whatever it was. I can't remember, $28,000. This is probably the fastest you've ever made. And I said, Bill, that was pretty quick, but let me tell you, there's lots of deals I do I don't get paid on. And so I would use this as an example. Let me tell you a story of a person I helped save their house. I got paid nothing for that. So you paying me on this 4 hours allows me to give service to everybody, and I'm going to be insured to be in business for you. And he just said, thank you for saying that. I just wanted to see how you'd answer it. So
I do it for karma. Kenny G, Ray Ray on both sides pulling out our arms. I'm helping you. Like I just knew it. And I said, oh yeah, I know.
They're real
all sharks.
Okay, we got to get back on.
No, that's a good story. I bought that. I go, karma's going to give me something. And 2 weeks later, I won a 6 parlay. 6 parlays. I put 6 houses under contract in 1 week. Yeah. And I call Carmel. I go, I'm dropping 6 this week. My wife doesn't know. She hasn't killed me yet. I go, that's because I helped you. And she's like, I love you, Chris. Bye. And we still talk like every month. Anyways, it's a karma thing.
You'll probably sell that house.
Oh, come here.
Yeah.
You're a good guy.
You
don't call people back, but other than that, you're a good guy. Okay. so let's go into right. Laura's like, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to go into the 7 options. Okay. So these are the options, and they are technically in order of how you want to present them. Okay. Now the key is, and don't make this mistake. I've taught this class so many times that I get to these people and they're like, oh, I went door knocking and I gave them the 7 options. You don't give them the 7 options. The 7 options is a consultative process that you're going to walk through with them. Just like how Chris is saying, I have to show them that I'm knowledgeable by asking them deep questions. That's what these 7 options are. It's a guideline for you to consult somebody and ask them questions in order of priority. So it's very intentional, the order they're in, and it's very intentional, the conversation. All right. It's just like a listing presentation. Listing presentation, if you do it right, never goes out of order, right? You don't say, my commission's this, and oh, by the way, this is what I'm going to do you? No, nobody does that. Nobody does that. Okay. All right. So option number 1, you're going to meet with them. So you're going to knock on their door. Hi, my name's Sean Modra. I'm with Keller Williams Realty. We specialize in this area. You might want to listen to this, Lily. This is the good part. Yeah. Yeah. You want to take 5?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll take 5.